A man stands alone in a small room. His hands shake, just a little. On the screen in front of him, a rocket, ready to fly. This is not its first flight. This is its fourth. 3 times before, this same rocket flew. 3 times it broke. The first time it caught fire. The second time it fell short. The third time it broke apart in the sky. Tonight, there is no money left for one more rocket, one more failure, and this company disappears forever. Everything depends on tonight. Imagine standing there for a moment. 6 years of hard work have brought you to this night. Almost all of your money is gone. Hundreds of people are waiting and watching. Some believe you can do it. Others are waiting to see you fail. One rocket stands between your dream and the end of your company. You cannot press pause. You cannot build another rocket tomorrow. Whatever happens next will change your future forever. That is exactly how Elon Musk feels tonight. The countdown keeps going. 9, 8, 7. Nobody can stop it now. Tonight, the world does not know if this company will still exist tomorrow. One more failure, and history changes forever. The man watching the rocket is Elon Musk. But tonight, he is only a man with one last chance. And one question remains. Can one man survive 3 failures when there is only one last chance left? Elon Musk was born in South Africa. Elon was not the strongest child. He was not the loudest child. He often stayed quiet while other children talked. Sometimes people thought he was not listening, but he was always thinking. He noticed small details. He asked difficult questions. That habit would help him years later, when one small mistake could destroy an entire rocket. As a young man, he moved to the United States. He wanted to build big things. In 1999, he helped start an online company. It was called PayPal. People used it to send money over the internet. In 2002, a bigger company bought PayPal. Musk sold his part. He made about $180 million. Imagine having $180 million. Most people would keep it safe. Some would buy big houses. Some would stop working forever. Elon Musk made a very different choice. He used almost all of that money to start a new company. Every dollar he invested was his own. If SpaceX failed, he would lose almost everything. There would be no second fortune waiting for him. He was not risking someone else's money. He was risking his own future. The company was called SpaceX. Its goal sounded almost impossible. Build rockets, make them cheaper, and one day, fly the same rocket again. He had a bigger dream too. One day, he wanted to send people to Mars. But before Mars, before any big dream, SpaceX had one small problem. It needed one rocket that could fly. That rocket was called Falcon 1. Building the rocket was hard. Keeping the dream alive would be even harder. This story is not really about building a rocket. It is about one question. How many times can one person fail before giving up? Musk used his own money to build Falcon 1. Almost all of it. There were no rich investors waiting to save him. No government would rescue the company. If Falcon 1 kept failing, the money would be gone, and SpaceX would disappear with it. Falcon 1 had only one job: fly. But before it finally reached space, it would fail. Again, and again, and again. Before the first launch, there were years of work that most people never saw. SpaceX was still a young company. The team was small. Many engineers were young too. Some had never built a rocket before. They worked long days. Sometimes they worked through the night. Every small part mattered. One loose bolt could become a big problem. One small mistake could end the entire mission. The team tested engines again and again. Sometimes the tests worked. Sometimes they failed. Every failure meant more work. But nobody stopped. They believed they were building something that could change the future. They were not only building a rocket, they were building trust. Trust in themselves, trust in their team, trust that one day Falcon 1 would finally leave Earth and never come back down. The first launch came in March 2006. The team watched from a small island in the Pacific Ocean. The rocket lifted off. For one moment, it looked good. Then something went wrong. Fuel leaked. Fire started. 1 minute after launch, the rocket fell back down. The first try had failed. That night was very quiet. Usually, engineers enjoy talking after a launch. Not this time. Some packed their bags without saying a word. Others stayed in front of their computers long after midnight. Nobody wanted to go home carrying the feeling of failure. But when the sun came up the next morning, they returned to work again. Nobody celebrated. Nobody smiled. The team quietly went back to work. Musk did not stop. He and his team studied the rocket. They found the problem, they fixed it, they built a new one, and they tried again. The second launch came in 2007. This time, the rocket flew much higher. It almost reached orbit, the place far above Earth where satellites travel. For a moment, everyone believed it would work. Then the engine shut off. Too early. The rocket never reached orbit. The second try had failed too. This failure hurt even more. The rocket had come so close. The team believed it would finally work. This time, people outside SpaceX started asking difficult questions. Could this company really build rockets? Or was it only a beautiful dream? Every new failure made those questions louder. But inside the company, the engineers saw something different. They saw progress. The rocket had flown higher than before. It had stayed in the air longer than before. Yes, it failed. But it also came closer to success. Sometimes progress does not look like success. Sometimes progress looks like one less mistake than yesterday. Still, Musk did not stop. Building rockets is hard. Every failure taught the team something new. They studied the problem again. They changed the design again. And they tried again. The third launch came on August 2nd, 2008. This time, the rocket flew well. At first, the first part finished its job. It separated from the second part, just like it should. Then the two parts hit each other in the sky. The rocket broke apart. It fell into the ocean. 3 launches, 3 failures. Then, silence. Nobody knew what to say. Some engineers looked at the ground. They already knew how serious this was. By now, things were very hard for SpaceX. The company had almost no money left. Musk's other company, an electric car company called Tesla, was in trouble too. The US economy that year was in trouble as well. People close to Musk still call 2008 the hardest year of his life. Imagine waking up every morning with the same question. Can we survive another week? Nobody knew the answer. Engineers still came to work. They still opened their computers. They still checked drawings and numbers. But everyone understood the truth. There might not be another project after this one. If Falcon 1 failed again, many dreams would end together. Years of work, friendships, careers. Everything depended on one rocket that had not even left the ground yet. Many people would have stopped there. 3 failures felt like enough. They would close the company and walk away. Musk did not say that. There was just enough money left for one more rocket, one more try. If this one failed too, SpaceX would be finished. For good. The hardest launch was still waiting. The team built a 4th Falcon 1. They checked every part again and again. They could not afford one more mistake, so they went back to that same small island, and they waited for the countdown to start again. September 2008 finally arrived. The fourth Falcon 1 was ready. Years later, Musk looked back on that night. He said something very simple. The first three launches failed. Fortunately, the fourth one worked, or that would have been it for SpaceX. Think about that for a second. One more failure, and SpaceX disappears. No Mars dream, no reusable rockets, no future missions. Just one man, one island, and almost no money left. On September 28, 2008, the team gathered again. The fourth Falcon 1 stood on the launch pad. The countdown started. Nobody clapped. Nobody smiled. Everyone remembered the last three launches. They had counted down before. They had watched rockets rise before. They had also watched dreams fall before. This countdown felt different. Every number sounded heavier. 10, 9, 8. Each second brought the team closer to success, or to the end of SpaceX. Back at SpaceX headquarters, about 500 people watched a screen. Many of them had spent years building this rocket. Now, all they could do was wait. The engines lit. Fire and smoke filled the sky. The rocket lifted off the ground. Nobody moved. Nobody spoke. Every second felt longer than the last. The first part finished its job. It separated from the second part. Cleanly, this time. The second part kept flying. Up and up, toward orbit. Seconds passed, then minutes. The rocket did not break. It did not fall. Then the message finally came. Falcon 1 had reached orbit. The room exploded with cheers. Some people laughed. Some people cried. Some simply stood there, unable to believe it. For a few minutes, nobody talked about money. Nobody talked about problems. Nobody talked about failure. They simply enjoyed the moment. They had waited years to hear those words. Falcon 1 reached orbit. It was only one sentence, but for everyone in that room, it meant years of hard work had finally become real. Musk smiled. Not because the journey was over, because SpaceX finally had a future. The rocket had reached orbit, but SpaceX was not safe yet. That night, Falcon 1 reached orbit. For the first time in years, the people inside SpaceX could smile. They had done the impossible, but the company was still in danger. A successful rocket was not enough. SpaceX still needed money. Without it, the company could disappear anyway. This was the result of one simple choice, made again and again. After every failure, try again. Falcon 1 became the first privately built rocket using liquid fuel to ever reach orbit. No company had done that before, not without help from a government. But the story does not end on that night in September. A few months later, on December 23, 2008, NASA called SpaceX. NASA is the United States Space Agency. NASA had made its decision. SpaceX had won a contract worth about $1.6 billion. The company would fly cargo to the International Space Station. Musk later said he could not even hold the phone still. He just said, "I love you guys." That one phone call changed everything. SpaceX finally had money. The team could keep building. The dream could stay alive. The contract gave SpaceX something even more valuable than money. It gave the company time. Time to build better rockets. Time to hire more engineers. Time to keep learning. Great companies are not built in one day. Sometimes they are built because one small success gives them one more chance to continue. Without the fourth launch, NASA would never have called. Without one more try, SpaceX would have disappeared. Sometimes, success is only one more attempt away. The hardest part is not knowing which attempt it will be. People sometimes call that luck, but luck alone cannot explain this story. 3 failures, 3 lessons, 1 more try. That is what changed everything. And that is why this story is not really about rockets. It is about refusing to quit, 1 attempt too early. Today, SpaceX launches rockets almost every week. Its rockets carry astronauts to the space station. Some of its rockets even land back on Earth and fly again. None of that would exist without one thing: 3 failures and 1 more try. Your story may not be about rockets, but you may know this feeling. Perhaps you tried something once. It failed, so you tried again, and it failed again. Now you feel tired. Now you wonder if it is time to stop. But Falcon 1 reminds us of something simple. Failure is not always the end. Sometimes, it is only the middle of the story. Right now, you do not know which attempt will become your 4th launch. It may be the next one, or the one after that. Never give up right before your 4th launch. You may have little money. People may doubt you. Some may tell you to stop, but the only attempt that can never succeed is the one you never make. So what is the one dream you are still willing to try for? One more time? Before we finish, let's go through the story one more time. A young man sold his part of PayPal and made millions of dollars. He used almost all of it to start a rocket company called SpaceX. His first rocket failed 3 times, in 2006, in 2007, and in August 2008. With almost no money left, his team built 1 more rocket. On September 28, 2008, the 4th Falcon 1 flew all the way to orbit. Months later, a huge NASA contract saved the company for good. Now, let's hear the key words from this story, one more time, slowly. Rocket, a machine that can fly into space. Fail, when something does not work. Money, something a company needs to keep building and moving forward. Try again. What Musk did, every single time. Orbit, the place far above Earth where the rocket finally flew. 4th, the number of the launches that changed everything. Never give up. The one lesson this whole story wants you to remember. Falcon 1 failed 3 times. It reached orbit on the 4th. Maybe your story is still waiting for 1 more try. If you enjoy learning English through true stories, subscribe Glow English Stories right now. Every week, there is another story waiting for you.